Hi there. Welcome to Bible Chat. Jason's weeping on the table.
Weeping and gnashing.
It's what happens here. Okay, so we've been. Last time we talked a little bit about the rise and fall of Mars Hill. Recent podcast, Christianity Today.
It's actually really good, but we said
very interesting.
With discerning ears.
Yeah, listen with discerning ears. There's some interesting stuff. There's one of the episodes that's a little racy.
About the men. Yeah, be careful.
Episode 4.
Which is called Women.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, women.
So guys,
how we treat
probably
women. Yeah.
be careful.
Yeah, you need to be very cautious about that episode. It's not good.
Yeah.
But definitely fascinating to see
sad and fascinating all at once.
Really, a time during the American church, in the American church, when celebrityism just rose so profoundly. Really dangerous stuff. So
very dangerous.
Anyway, sad one.
Yeah.
But we at the end of the last video we did, we were talking about spiritual abuse.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. And what we mentioned was the whole thing about young guys, right? And so the question is, you have a guy who is maybe very gifted as a teacher, or is a very gifted servant or whatever in some capacity. And then those gifts are very evident that there's all this kind of channeling toward that. He's getting lots of accolades.
Yeah.
How do you guard his heart? Because I mean, what do we do?
All of us are tempted to that too.
The danger is so clear.
It's
so
profound.
what's the best way forward with that?
Criticize him heavily.
You're ugly. You are.
Get one of those sermon sheets that you used to get at TMS. Remember when we used to get those?
Yeah.
Hand gestures.
Yeah.
And like every one of them, 0, 0, 0, all the way down the list.
It was actually really good, but I just want to keep you home.
Every sermon. No,
That's so awesome.
I think there is. Well, there's a little bit of tongue in cheek there, but I think that like the danger of being gifted and not having character is profound. And I think that's where 1 Corinthians 13 talks about that, right? Like, if I can speak the tongue of angels and I can, have faith to move mountains and get my body to be burned, all that, but I have not love, it's zero.
Yeah,
like
all sorts of acts, but separated from love, it's an empty thing.
Yeah, that's why Paul says, love, pursue love. That's like the most excellent thing of all.
Yeah.
Which is character, like love for Christ, love for others, like your heart loves Jesus.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not like one thing, right? There's lots of things you can do.
Yeah.
But like the process of discipleship, raising up a future leader, elder, it really does start with, like we were talking about, what you talked about last session, about their relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
And for, let's say in your case, you knowing that intern's heart over time as you have meetings and interaction. It's not just like a sheet that they can sign off on. Yeah. It's something that's a daily lived reality, right? I mean,
totally.
I would say it has to all start there.
You have to watch it, and see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's really interesting. You can watch. No, that's very helpful. I was going to say, and there's more to be said there.
No, of course,
but I was going to say, like, you do have to observe. As you're watching a person, you know if their heart's really devoted to Christ or not. You can tell, like, what's the most serious thing to them? Where are they most where are they most joyful? All those things and you can see what's cropping up inside their heart.
And if someone is that gifted, this is more. It's gonna sound a little, but maybe like actually hold back a little.
Yeah.
Let them. Not to say don't let them teach or don't let them lead, but I would be very careful. For his sake, not because we don't actually do, but without the character, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so I would say, like, maybe just as an institutional thing, like not giving him such a wide platform early on, like until character is more and more confirmed. Like that's why I think at least with how we have tried to do it is slowly, right, like in terms of platform. Use that word. But
no, it is
opportunities.
Opportunities to do things.
We want to. You would say, right? But not like, hey, you're doing all this and doing all that, and that just, I don't know, it just puts a guy in danger of that temptation.
It really does, And I think there's, for us, at least at our church, that we can there's protection because elders do have authority.
Over that intern, let's say.
So we give that intern or young person a long time before you make him an elder. You just have to give them time and let them season. And then as they season, I think the Lord will bring that more and more to light. And I think the congregation will say, that guy really... He really loves Christ. They're spiritual, and so therefore they're discerning God's spiritual work in that person.
Right. So it's like a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Elders, and you have the congregation, you give it time, you give opportunities, and even things like what we were talking about last one again. The lead guy's told, or in this case Driscoll, or whoever it is, no.
And
then goes against that, right? And so even with a young person, you want to see how do they respond to criticism. How do they respond to feedback? How do they respond to hard things being said to them? Because we were all there, and then we're not old. No, by any means. We're not like, hey, I have all.
You're older than I am, though.
I'm 1 year. It's not like we have all this, like, we're so seasoned. We know. No, our point is, like, I remember what it was like to be a 23-year-old intern who thought they knew everything. And I'm not saying all interns are like that. That's not my point. I
would say all. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just teasing.
Just full of pride and full of, like, gusto and. You think you know everything. You think you're the best this and that, and you got it all figured out because you read some books and wrote some papers. And it's like life hits you right in the face.
Seriously. That's what Paul says, right? I mean, those are the temptations of youth. There's just youthful temptations, and those do have to be kind of crushed out of you a little bit. And they're still there. I mean, they're in all of us.
No, it's not like saying we're out of that now. We're just completely good.
But it does crush you so that you learn to hate those temptations. When your own sin sort of bites you and you realize, man, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I hadn't talked that way, or I wish I hadn't said that. And pretty soon you learn, like, oh, that's such a terrible thing. That's really sin against the Lord, and it hurts my relationship with Christ, and so I don't want to do it. That's very guarded.
So you just have to learn through those failures and weaknesses as they're exposed. It's almost like, I think we've mentioned this before, maybe not on the podcast, but like you can't teach that. In some ways. You can talk about it like we are now, but like you have to go through those bumps and get those bumps and bruises and fail. And not that we're saying we're allowing sin, but you kind of have to like go through it and get your pride crushed.
And then watch yourself fail and then get and that's where older men over us. I mean, both of us had guys who were over us who were older who said, "Hey, you're proud. Stop that. No more." And that's the most helpful thing for us.
How many times
right?
did that
happen? Let's not discuss that. No, many.
No.
Right?
If it didn't happen, I would be like, well, that's not helpful.
Yes, you're in danger.
Yeah.
So then what if if maybe for a listener or someone who's watching, what if they're going to a church and they're like, I think there's maybe some biblical. How would you advise that person?
That's rough. Yeah. I would definitely sympathize with them. I feel for them. I think you would have to, I would encourage you to still talk. Talk to the elders and elder. That will reveal a lot. And now we're assuming that this is something really like legitimate. You're not just like firing off because you don't like some guy or you're tired about you're unhappy about this or that. Let's assuming that this is a legitimate thing. I'd say talk to the pastors, talk to the elders. You have to. And how they respond will be very telling. If they just stiff arm you, I mean, and you do your best, and the Bible talks about, be at peace with all men, so far as it depends on you.
Totally.
Sure, I mean, those are some cases where it might be, you might have to leave. You don't want to do that easily or hastily. But depending on the severity of the response, depending on, like, how that all happens, if they're just like, no, you're wrong, no, it's okay, and it just feels like a good old boys club or, like, problems just sort of whitewashed. I mean, you yourself as a member can't change the whole culture.
Totally.
You can appeal, but sure, I mean, there's going to be a time and a place for everything. And if it is truly spiritual abuse, I mean, what can you really do? There's no like police to report something to. I mean, outside of legal things, you can't report a self-willed man. At that point, I would say it's probably dangerous to your soul to stay there. I don't know what you want to add to that.
No, I agree with that 100%. Another thing, so then the way they would know if it's spiritual abuse. Would be if they come to the elders and say, "Hey, I don't agree with what you're doing," and then the elder says, "Let me show you the chapter and verse about why we do it this way, or why we're doing this, or why we're specifically dealing with that." If there's no chapter and verse. It's just the autonomous opinion of one guy.
Right.
That's when you know there might be a danger there.
And you probably won't be the only one. There'll be others. And you don't want to gossip and slander people, so you got to be careful about that. But you'll find out that you're not the only one feeling like, this is weird. Like, why do we do that? And it won't be like, again, this is not like, how come our care groups are going through 2 Samuel instead of, Philippians? That's not what we're talking about.
No,
but there'll be that feel of how people are dealt with. How maybe church discipline functions. How other leaders are silenced, or or people are silenced. You'll get that. I think like if you're to stay at a church any length of time, you'll get that vibe from the leadership. I can't talk to this guy. Like I can't. He's not approachable. that's not good.
Yeah, it's
you
dangerous.
We're your shepherds. Like, you have to feel the freedom to talk to us.
Yeah, totally.
And if that's truly not there, then we need to know.
Yeah.
And we want to correct that in our hearts first.
Yeah.
If that's truly not there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's super helpful. Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is interesting. You said there's no, you can't report it to the police. There's nothing you can do
unless it's a legal criminal action.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously,
I mean,
please do.
Yeah. Theft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or physical abuse.
Right.
Like
Right.
But it is interesting because it is a sin that has such huge ramifications, so much fallout.
Yeah.
And the collateral damage is so massive because of those sins, and yet they're not legally enforced. You can't do anything about it. It's just God's God, and he's the one who takes care of those things.
And if that pastor doesn't repent, let's say, or the elder board, they're all like bad apples, and they don't repent, then God will deal with them.
Yeah, totally.
One way or the other. So
leave room for God, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
Exactly.
Well, hey, questions as always. Feel free to leave a comment in the video here, or you can always email us at info@faithbibleoc.org. Thanks so much.